Guys, Romie here. So this is the recap for Love and Hip Hop Atlanta Season 5, Episode 11. And Joseline. You know what, Joseline? You've been doing stunts and shows for 5 seasons, and I really do love the Puerto Rican princess, but it's finally caught up with her. And I want to see the fallout from this. I'm like, it's crazy how we're finally starting to get the reality, and it only took us 5 seasons. Lord Jesus. Anyway, so the episode within itself focuses on a couple of things. It focuses on Joseline. It focuses on CVJ and Mimi. Mimi, you need to stop with this whole meddling in other people's affairs and all that, because it's like, okay, we get it. Mimi doesn't have a storyline. So this is why she's going and making sure that she puts herself in everyone else's shoes and situation. But the episode actually starts off with Scrap. Scrap is getting his sentencing, and everyone's reflecting. You know what? Everyone's reflecting. You have Tommy, who of course is taking care of the kids, and so she's like, you know, at the end of the day, Scrap is a good father, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have King learn about what his father did when he's older and he can understand it better. But right now I'm just going to shield it from him. He understands that his father did something, and because of that he's going away for a while. But that's as far as we're going to take it. I'm just like, this whole situation is messed up. We have Tommy, who is apparently getting drunk, consistently getting drunk. And that's her way of coping. That's her way of dealing with everything. I'm like, wait a minute. Am I supposed to believe this yet? Because we know that you are an actress and you're doing this so that you can put yourself out there. But yeah, okay, for the storyline, for the sake of the storyline, let's pretend like this is real. Carly Red is acting as if she's known Scrap for so long, but she was like, you know, he was my friend and he was good to me, so I really appreciate him. I'm like, this is the fakest season of Love and Hip Hop I've ever seen. Are we really going to pretend like this man... 2 out of the 3 of you women didn't even know this man until the show. I mean, really. Let's be real about this. But anyway, so here's the situation. We have Scrap. He's talking with a judge, and the judge is like, I understand that you are here because of marijuana possession, and this is not your first offense. You've had prior offenses, and so that's why I can't do anything except for follow what's in the legal parameters of sentencing. It can either be 5 years or up to 30 years. Here's what I'm going to do for you though, because I like you, and Scrap talked about how he has 2 kids, so he does acknowledge that he actually has 2 children. We do know that for a fact, that his real girlfriend, who she is, and we've seen her and everything, but she didn't want to be on the show, so that's why we didn't initially, well, that's why we won't see her on this show, or his other child. But how it starts off is Scrap is talking with the judge. He's pleading with the judge, and he was just like, you know, just for some marijuana, some people do a lot worse and they get off. It's like, yes, that's true, but how the legal system works in America is, did you do it? Yes. Can they prove that you did it? Yes. And as a result, that's why you get sentenced the way you get sentenced. But for something like marijuana, you know, you really get in trouble only because it's hard for them to the government to control and tax something like that. That's the real reason. Let's just be real about that. But I'm not going to pretend like I care too much, because it's illegal. So, well, it's illegal still in certain states, so it is what it is. I don't use any drugs at all. That's why I can't be like, oh, it's a little bit, no, you know it's bad, you know it's illegal, whatever. But why is it that the camera people, why is it that Love and Hip Hop, after he gets sentenced, I'm going to tell you what he got, even though we already know, why is it that they were able, Scrap's family wasn't able to have any more contact with him, but you see this cameraman get this great shot of Scrap coming out of the courthouse and getting put into a police vehicle. Now, the interesting part about that is the fact that Scrap got 20 years. He got 20 years, but how it's broken down is he has to serve 5 years. He gets 15 years for probation. And I was like, 15 years for probation? Damn, can you at least give me like 10? And 15 years? But you know what? This is good because they're making examples out of people, letting them know that regardless of how small the crime is, if it's illegal, there are consequences. And as long as people aren't pinning stuff on you and you really didn't do it, there's no reason why you need to act like, oh, the system is just completely rigged. It's not completely rigged. Some of it is, don't do it. Don't do it. It's your fault. Anyway, Stevie J, it was so messed up because I was watching on my phone. So at first I was like, I know that's supposed to be a man, but why does she have boobs? I was like, oh, that's Stevie J without a shirt on. Oh, okay. Okay. Of course he doesn't look bad, but I was just like, now come on now. What is that supposed to do for anyone? Steven, Jordan. Mimi is talking about how I'm going to get to the bottom of this. You know, Precious B, you know, that girl who's saying that you two had sex and all that. Well, here's the reality. She lives in North Carolina, and that's a hop, skip, and a jump from us being in Atlanta. So we're going to go and we're going to visit her. We're going to visit her, and we're going to find out once and for all, did you father her child? And Stevie right now is just like, you know, I didn't do it. And Mimi's just like, Joseline said, I'm like, I love Joseline, but let's be real, Joseline can be on that BS sometimes. But for the sake of it, and because I was also thinking, Stevie doesn't seem like someone that would go and neglect his child or neglect his responsibilities. So why would he go and pretend that him and Joseline, that he doesn't have kids? He seems like he actually loves kids and he loves his kids. So that just didn't make sense to me. But for the sake of the storyline, let's go with Mimi going and continue to meddle in someone else's issues when it's really not her own and say, you know what? We're going to go down. We're going to talk to this chick and find out once and for all. Next, we have a really weird scene. I was like, damn, Mona. We're getting desperate at this point, aren't we? We have Mama D, and she's talking with Betty Idol. And I was like, see, that's the thing. I know Betty Idol annoys a lot of people, but Betty Idol's cute. I don't understand why people can't just accept that. And I'm like, how she looks should trump how we perceive her voice. Or is that just me? Please don't thumbs down because of that. But anyway. Oh yeah, please like, comment, subscribe. Betty Idol is talking with Mama D because Mama D's just like, you know, I did my research when Scrap was talking about this Betty Idol woman. It was just like, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. So when she actually talks to Betty Idol, she's like, yeah, you're beautiful. And damn, I definitely would have had you running them streets when I was a pimp because you definitely could have fetched me a lot. I'm like, Mama D, stop it. Mama D, stop it. Mama D. Come on now. But basically Betty Idol's just like, look, I had a confrontation with Tammy, and Tammy is friends with Bambi. And of course Bambi is Scrap's ex. Mama D is just like, oh Lord, the deer. And she was just like, yeah. And he wanted me to apologize even though he was the one that pissed off my friend because this Instagram video of what he said, it really offended my friend and also other people in the transgender community. And Mama D, of course, is all about love is love and everyone should be treated equal. And we definitely get that from Mama D. So she was like, Lord, why did the prince go and say something like that? I did not raise him to say something like that. And I honestly believe that. But like it really matters though. But and so she was just like, look, I'm gonna talk with him and because I really want you to get it because you're just so beautiful. And I'm like, Mama D, what about the personality? What about the personality? Come on now. What about the personality? Let's get into that. Mimi and what's his name, Stevie J, they're going to North Carolina so that they can talk to Precious B, or Precious P, whatever her name is. I think it's Precious B. And Mimi's just like, look, I need you to do something for me. I need you to be honest. I'm like, this is Stevie J, but okay now. So Stevie J, of course, I thought it was interesting because I'm like, okay, is she trying to pretend or was she really caught off guard about Stevie J actually popped up? I don't know if maybe he said, oh, well, don't be surprised if I come your way or something like that. I don't know. I'm really confused. We know that she knew. She was all dressed up for it, so we know that she knew. And I'm like, Precious B. Honestly, he doesn't really look like she doesn't really look like Stevie J's type. But okay, let's go with this for the storyline. So she goes and she tries to, be coy about it. Mimi was just like, look, we're here to find out the truth because you were saying that you slept with Stevie J, and Stevie J is saying that he never even had any type of interaction with you, and you're saying that you have a baby by him. So she was just like, I have a, what is it called? A DNA test, a home DNA test. We're going to take this, we're going to swab your child. We'll find out soon enough if he's really the father or not. She was just like, okay, you really want to see? Joke's on you. Because the reality is that, dun dun dun, Stevie J did not even have sex with this woman. So Stevie J can possibly have a child with this woman. I'm thinking to myself, are you kidding me? It was just like, and she was like, to make matters worse, I've never spoken to Joseline Hernandez. So, in my life. So I have no idea what's going on. I'm like, wait a minute. Do I really believe this woman? Because Stevie J has pulled some fast ones on us in the past. But then I was like, Stevie J isn't the type to really downplay the fact that he slept with someone. So I was like, damn, this woman really lied on her V. Are you kidding me? And she was serious. Mimi was irritated because Mimi was just like, why are you going to do that? Why are you going to go on lines? I'm like, Mimi, it doesn't matter. You're not his girlfriend. You're not his wife. You're not his nothing. You're his baby's mother. That's what you are at this point. Be that. Stop trying to meddle. And she was just like, Precious B was just like, look, at the end of the day, I have talent. I wanted to get that exposure. So what better not way to do it and say, a philandering man whore had sex with me and fathered a child. That's an easy way to do it. And I'm like, oh, you're not wrong about that. You grimy for doing it, but you're not wrong for doing that. And Stevie Jo's just like, don't call me, don't text me. That's all we need to go with, right? That's it. Thank you. Bye-bye. So, after that, Scrap goes and talks with Mama D. And Mama D is pissed because Mama D is just like, she has transgender friends. And she fully accepts the LGBTQ community, and so that's why she was just like, look, I don't understand why you said what you said. Scrap pretty much said that, not pretty much, he actually said, here's his point of view. He personally doesn't have anything against transgenders or anyone in the LGBTQ community, and his whole stance is more so, I just want you to know that at the end of the day, for me, there are some people, and we know this to be true, that some transgenders, everyone, all types of people who will go and lie about either their sexuality or even their gender, and then they go and they get with these guys, and then of course these guys have a right to be upset because it's like, maybe if they really knew, because some women are really passable. Some transgender women are really passable. So if you have some of these transgender women who are really trying to clown these men, and clown them by, which is pretty messed up that you're technically clowning them if you're with one, but clown them by pretending that they are just born a woman, and the reality is they're not, and then it's just like, haha, joke's on you. You did this and you said this when you thought it was this, but here's the reality. So I understood his point of view. I really did. I know some people are going to be like, oh, it doesn't matter. Look. Come on now. Let's just be mature and think about what he actually said. He didn't say anything wrong. I'm not talking about in the video. I'm talking about his explanation. After that, we have Joseline. Joseline's with Dawn. We're going through this really quickly because the only thing that matters is Joseline has her independence. She she can do whatever she wants. Joseline's still pretending like her and Stevie are married. Oops, spoiler alert. And she's just like, look, I'm not working with him anymore. I'm going to go and get my business. I'm going to go and run my companies. That 30% that he was getting from me, I'm going to put into my company. I was like, okay, shout out to you, Joseline. Where is this little office space? Is it rented? This doesn't look like you actually work here. This looks like a set. Let's stop it now with the light. Let's stop it. Let's stop it. Dawn, of course, is managing her for club appearances because that's all Dawn can really do. That's all the connections she actually really does. Dawn's trying to elevate herself, so that's why she's attaching herself to Joseline. That's why she was really hurt when she thought when Joseline cut ties with her. Let's be real about that. And Joseline goes and admits, guess what? Guess what? I lied. You know, I wanted to get back at Stevie. So the best way to do that is to use Mimi because he's been using Mimi. Well, why don't I go and use Molly the Maid myself? I don't actually really like that hoe. I don't really like her. So I'm going to go and I'm going to pretend that, you know, I'm crying, I'm sobbing. I'm like, Joseline, we remember there were no tears. But anyway, I'm carrying on saying that Stevie cheated and he had 2 kids out of wedlock and all this stuff. And here's the reality. I lied. I lied because I wanted Mimi to go and blow up on Stevie and, you know, take care of him for me. I was like, Joseline, you grimy look. I was so mad, Joseline. Oh, Joseline. I actually think it's kind of funny, but it's also messed up at the same time. I was like, Joseline, I love you, but that was... But then again, Mimi actually fell for it, so... Anyway, we move on from that, and we have Scrap. Scrap is performing with Bobby V, which makes sense why we've been seeing Bobby V for the past couple of episodes. They have a song together. They've been working together, and so now they actually perform the song. I'm like, the song is cute. The song is basic. Let's call it what it is. The song is basic. It is basic as far as what we currently hear. I'm sure it'll get a radio play because it's a radio-friendly single. It's not a bad song. I'm just saying, Scrap, at least you gave us something we can digest, but come on now. We know that you have more in you than what we heard. And, what's her name? Betty Idol and D Smith. They're both come to his little performance, and D Smith is just like, you know, I don't really care about Scrap. I'm only here for my girl Betty. And here's the thing, he said some really hurtful and derogatory things about the transgender women in the community and made comments that weren't appropriate. So I want to get his take on it. I really want to speak with him about that and regarding that. I'm like, Lord Jesus, here we go with the BS. But alright, let's go. Let's go. We can handle the BS. So here's how the conversation actually goes. You know, Scrap is happy to see Betty Idol. And originally Scrap, Betty Idol, I think, thought that Scrap was going to just go and apologize to him. That didn't actually happen because Mama D was like, you need to apologize to Betty Idol. And that didn't really happen. What actually happened was what normally happens when D Smith is in the room. She takes over and tries to push her thoughts, views, and opinions on people that she has an issue with. Here's the thing. The only thing I appreciate about this conversation is that it was D Smith was less animated because Scrap wasn't really going at her. Scrap wanted to let it be known, I do not hate you. I do not hate people like you. I hate when people like you go and do that scammer stuff and pretend like, oh, they were just born a woman. And they go and they purposely try to play these guys and say that they were always a woman because technically they're passable. And then it's like, oh, they actually are transgender and they're not even post-op. They still have their penis. And so it's like, oh, haha, joke's on you. You just had sex with a transgender woman who still has her penis. And that does happen. It's just like, I mean, and also the same can be said about guys who actually like that and they pretend like they don't and they go and clown transgenders even though they're sleeping with them. So it's just, it goes both ways, and that's what they both came to agreement on. You know, it's messed up on both accounts. But of course, D Smith was still like, you know, I really don't agree with your point of view. I'm just letting you talk to let you talk. I'm like, D Smith, if you actually let a couple other people talk instead of just going to interrupt them like you did in the past, then I'm sure those conversations will have ended the way this one ended. So I'm not even going to say shout out to you. I'm going to say shout out to Scrap. Shout out to Betty Idol for not jumping in. And we'll see what happens from now on. So Mimi talks with Rashida, and Mimi comes to the realization that Mimi, because Joseline was playing you. She played you like a fiddle. You went down to this woman's house. Rashida's like, what the hell are you doing? Because Stevie is in your house. This man that you supposedly have an issue with, he's in your house. He's doing this, he's doing that. You're still going to bat for him because you're trying to defend his honor against this woman who's saying that she had a baby by him. Mimi, what are you really doing? I'm glad that Rashida pointed that out, but you know, it went in one ear and out the other, because this is Mimi we're talking about, and Mimi just needs to come to a realization that she just needs to do her. So the last main scene is of Stevie J. Stevie J is currently at... Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention that that Mimi found a picture of Joseline. Or was it Mimi or was it Rashida? There was this picture of Joseline with Rick Ross, and they were all booed up. And we know at this point Stevie J and Joseline aren't together, and that Scrap and Bambi are actually a couple. And I think they might be engaged or something like that. But the crazy thing is, when Stevie J is at J Nick's radio show, he makes a couple of confessions. He talks about how, and of course, that's when we go to think, okay, the show's getting pretty current at this point, because we, maybe it's like maybe a month, 2 months at this point behind from what's currently going on. And him and Joseline aren't together. They are not together anymore. Not meaning that they'll never not come back together, just not together anymore right now. And the second realization is, before I say that, Stevie J has gone to business with someone named Miss Jackson, and I forgot what business they're supposedly supposed to be doing together. But what I do know is Stevie J, again, he's trying to make sure that all of his stuff is legit, so shout out to him for that. Here's the kicker. Joseline and Stevie J were never married. He confirms it. And I'm like, okay, the relationship pretty much has to be over if Stevie J was willing to go and give that information up when he was holding it so close to the vest. Probably more so for Joseline. I don't think he really cared if they were married or not. I feel like Joseline wanted that so that it could validate her, which actually sounds ridiculous at this point, knowing Joseline's personality. So that's pretty much it for this week. Please like, comment, subscribe. There were some interesting moments this week, but next week looks like it's going to be some real foolishness, some real typical love and hip hop foolishness, and I'm not mad at it.